Sean Penn. You know, here's one that you probably don't know, and I brought him up real quick. David Bromstad. He hosts My Lottery Dream House or something on HGTV, and I know that because it's one of my wife's favorite shows.
There you go.
Mark Felt, FBI agent. Yoo Sung-ho, South Korean actor.
How about this one? The most hated college basketball player ever is?
Somebody from Duke.
Christian Laettner.
Today?
Today.
Oh, wow. What a day.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. The following is an exclusive presentation of Pirate Radio, the voice of the pirate nation. This is Eastern North Carolina's longest-running sports radio call-in show. The Brian Bailey Show is on the air. The Brian Bailey Show on Pirate Radio is brought to you by
Bostic Sugg Furniture, Bojangles, East Coast Grading, Angus Grill, Gavigan Insurance, Greenville Auto World, Papa John's, Pepsi, Taft and Hagler, and by Tiebreakers.
And now, here's Brian Bailey.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome into our show. Happy Monday. The best part of your Monday is right here at noon on Pirate Radio. The Brian Bailey Show is show number 2 of this 2020-2021 campaign. Donnie Kirkpatrick is live in the studio with us, the offensive coordinator at East Carolina. Coach, how's it going through these COVID times? You doing okay?
Well, these are times like nothing we've ever experienced again, and you can hear I'm a little hoarse. So you can tell we've been practicing. You get 7 turnovers about a week ago. You're going to have to holler a little bit. So, but it's great to be here. You know you've arrived when you get asked to do the Brian Bailey Show.
I was going to have you on last week. We had all those turnovers, so we had to wait a week and get you back on.
I kind of appreciate that. You usually throw me in that hand grenade. But
yes, I have.
Saving me this time.
Yeah, the Tulane game comes to mind years ago with Coach Holtz, and you came on right after that. Donnie Kirkpatrick live in the studio. We'll take our first break, and we'll come back with the Brian Bailey Show for you coming up after this.
At Tiebreakers, we pride ourselves on serving
big, juicy wings.
I'm talking
big and juicy.
Our chickens are the same ones that kick sand in the other chickens' faces. If our chickens played football, they'd be linebackers. The competition's chickens, they'd be
skinny little kickers.
Trade those kickers in for linebackers.
Tiebreakers is open every day at 11 a.m. Follow Tiebreakers on Facebook and Instagram for daily updates.
It's summertime, and it's no better time to drive away with the quality pre-owned car, truck from Greenville Auto World. Greenville Auto World is your authorized rough country dealer. We specialize in lift and leveling kits along with custom wheel packages. Whether you're looking for ground clearance or enhancing the appearance of your vehicle, trust in our team to improve your vehicle's off-road experience. Give us a call for more information, 252-364-8730. Greenville Auto World, 3840 South Charles Boulevard, across from Hardee's at Bells Fork.
This is my new Shaq-a-Roni pizza. Extra cheese, extra pepperoni right to the edge, and the biggest slices in Papa John's history. But it's bigger than pizza, because $1 from each sale is donated to support communities.
Hey pizza fans, order the new Shaq-a-Roni pizza with double pepperoni and extra cheese loaded to the edge for only $12. Place your order today online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards. Papa John's, the official pizza of the ECU Pirates. Got big dreams for your small business? You're not alone. The Gavigan Agency Insurance Services is a growing business too. That's why they work with Nationwide, the #1 small total business insurer in the U.S. Nationwide can help protect and grow your business so you can focus on making your small business dreams come true. Give the Gavigan Agency Insurance Services a call today at 252-756-1400. Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio. Subject to underwriting guidelines, review, and approval.
It's almost quitting time, but your family's hunger is gearing up for the night shift. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. Or you could drop a big bow box on it, because whether you need an 8, 12, or 20 piece with biscuits, fixins, and tea, you can clock out and spend some quality time with a delicious dinner. Now when it comes to sneaking a biscuit on the drive home, That's all you. Bojangles, it's bow time.
Hi, I'm Ken Hagler of Taft Hagler. We're proud to be sponsors of the Brian Bailey Show and the Pirate Nation on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. If you've been injured on the job or due to someone else's negligence in an automobile collision, call us at 752-2000 for a free consultation with experienced professionals who care. Go Pirates!
This is Coach Gary Overton, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
Not used to these buttons yet, as you can tell. The whole time I was talking to Donnie during the commercial break, I said, okay, make sure you put it back on 5. Put it back on 5. And then we came back and didn't have any audio because I didn't have the right button. And you've seen that with your young players so far this summer every once in a while, right? They don't get the right button, do they?
You know what? They don't. They don't. And I guess that's my fault.
When you look at what we're going through right now, and it's like last week this time I had Clip looking at Twitter left and right to see which league was going to cancel, which league wasn't going to play. This week, at least to start the week, it has the tendencies, or it feels like it's a little calmer right now as far as that goes. But how hard has it been for you guys as coaches and with the players, to keep your head, on a swivel, but straight ahead to try to figure out how you're going to do this thing?
Well, I think it's been the hardest thing is to just know that we have to prepare as if we're going to play a normal season, and we have to just prepare every day and do our jobs and recruiting, even though 1 hour you may hear one thing and the next hour you may hear a different thing. And again, nobody really knows the answers. Nobody really even knows the real questions, I don't think, at this point. But what we do know is you can't do it the other way. You can't say, well, we're probably not going to play, and then they call you back in and go, okay, we got to roll. You've got to prepare. So we've been in camp. Classes have started now, so we're just practicing in the afternoons. We're kind of on that weekly schedule, even though we don't play for 4 weeks. But as I said, you can hear from my voice, we've been in camp, where it was just, football 16 hours a day. And we just tried to keep the players focused on, what we can control. And that's what we try to do as a coaching staff, just worry about what can we control, and we'll just have to let the other people decide the other things.
With you on Facebook Live today, and if you have a question or comment for Coach Kirkpatrick, please feel free to jot something down. Our guys back here, Clip and our company, will check it out and send it up to us. But it's so hard, fall camp is anyway. And then to have that in the back of your mind that you don't even know if you're going to get anything out of it, that has to be really a psychological disadvantage for everybody.
And our players have done great with it, though, and I'm sure, though, that they've had questions. I think one of the best things we've done from John Gilbert and Coach Houston and their great leadership is that they've come in and they've talked to the players a lot in the team meetings and the nightly meetings, and they've opened the floor for the players to ask questions and feel free to express anything that's on their mind. And so I think the open dialogue, and they know that they're in a situation where they're cared about, that we're trying to do everything we can do to make sure they're safe, and that's the first priority. We're not trying to just take them out there trying to make money off of them. And again, they've had some questions, and we've taken the time to try to answer those questions the best we can. Now, we haven't been able to give them all the answers, but our players kind of enjoy, I think, being back. The players kind of like each other. They enjoy the company of the other players. I think they love football. We really do. I think have a team now that likes football. That's important. It's a hard game to play at this level. I'm not sure we had that last year. I think we were getting that way last year. This year, though, they act like they're hoping we're going to play. If we don't play, they still enjoy being here. They still enjoy preparing for it, and they just enjoy being around each other, I think.
And when you look at what you guys had to go through in March, no spring football, so that sets you back some, and then the workout routine. And each one of these guys, I'm sure, worked out as hard as they possibly could on their own, but it's just not the same, is it? I mean, it's just not the same.
No, it's not even close. You can be the most committed, dedicated athlete out there, and you're going to push yourself to a certain extent, but you're not going to push yourself to the point that Big John Williams is going to push yourself. And so, losing spring practice, I think, was something that, probably slowed our progress. it slowed the progress of the young kids the most. We had 10 incoming freshmen that came mid-year. They would have gotten a jump on things. They didn't get a chance to do that. But I think we've overcome that. We did get some extra workouts in the summer with walkthroughs with the ball that were pretty intense. Okay, we say walkthroughs, they were run-throughs. I think we've caught up with that part. The part we're way behind still is the loss of time in the weight room. A lot of these kids tried to lift. Some of them had home gyms. Some of them tried to find facilities, but nothing like what we provide for them and that guy, and those strength coaches.
You saw the Holt Naylor's Hillbilly Workout, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. and as impressive as that was, it doesn't compare to what he would be able to get trained. And then I think the conditioning, that's probably even the bigger thing, is it's hard to make yourself go out there and just run and then turn around and run again, or run stadium steps, or do that type of conditioning, run those 300s, and run them for time and only at a certain amount of rest. You just can't push yourself. You just can't get that done. And then I think some other things, the nutrition, because these athletes have to eat, and we feed them, so much. We have a full-time nutritionist. We have a training table now that took, 117 years to get here. But we got that accomplished. So we were making so many good strides in the spring. When we went off to spring break, the team was in great shape. They looked good. They were healthy. They were really ready to come back for spring practice. When we got them back in July, you were kind of like, wow, okay, this has been like a 2-year setback. But football being one thing, but not nearly as much as I think is the strength and conditioning part is where we're behind. We're trying to catch up.
Yeah, and it's hard to catch up because you're running out of time.
And you can't once practice started, Big John couldn't just train them,
right,
as much, because then rest becomes such an important part of it because they're on their feet so much. So you had to decide, well, we only have so many practice days. We've got to get those in. Now that classes have started and the game got pushed back to September 12th, that's a whole other factor that was going on. We were playing the first game August the 29th, which is earlier than ever. So that equation already was going to put us under a little bit more stress. Then they moved classes up to the 10th, about 2 weeks earlier.
So that cuts camp out.
So that cut camp out, and the thing in camp is because you have them all day. There are no other distractions. I mean, it's get up in the morning. They're being fed. They're being treated. You're meeting with them. You're having walkthroughs. You're practicing with them. You're doing it all over again a couple of times a day. Once they start class, you don't have them all day. You just have them for the practice parts of it, and so it really put us, in a stressful, tight situation. So you had to cut something back, and a lot of that was, got cut back. It got moved to September 12th now, so we do have a little bit more time, and I think we'll be ready by then.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun if we get to play it September the 12th. We're looking forward to it. Some of the news from the day: Justin Fields, the quarterback from Ohio State, has put together a deal to get signatures protesting the fact that the Big Ten is not going to play, and he's got some 200,000 electronic signatures. So I don't know how that's going to play with the Big Ten, but you got to give the guys credit. A lot of the players have come forth. The guys from Clemson came out, and everybody, Tyler Lawrence wanting to play. So I think most of the players really want to play.
Well, I know ours do, and I think that from what I've read, a little bit around the country, most of the guys do. Again, I think that the NCAA's done some good things there with open dialogue with these players, and they do have the opportunity to opt out. So I think nobody, feels like I'm being pressured into doing something that I'm not comfortable or my family's not comfortable with doing. And so I think most of the schools, are like us. They have good medical attention. They have the trainers. They have the team doctors. And I think they know that the schools really do have their safety first in mind. It's a money-making business. We all know that. It's created. It's become a big machine out there. But I think the coaches, the athletic directors, and even the chancellors and presidents of these universities do have these kids, their best interest in heart.
Over 200,000 signatures on that petition, so that'll be the thing to look for coming up this week. Donnie Kirkpatrick, offensive coordinator at East Carolina, our guest in the studio. The Pirates breaking camp. They're in regular practice mode right now, getting set for that September the 12th, we hope, fingers crossed, matchup against the Thundering Herd of Marshall. How long do you wait before you guys really focus in on Marshall and their defense with your offense?
Well, what we did was during the off, for what you'd say the off time when the students weren't here, we kind of reversed our schedule, whereas we would have been in spring practice, then we would have went in spring recruiting. Since we couldn't do that, we took the summer scouting reports time, and we started doing that back in March and in April. So we worked on Marshall. We put a game plan together. We got our film study done for them, and then went on to some other games like that. So all that part's ready. Now, we haven't actually practiced that part of it with the players yet, though some of it, we are practicing, and we're just not saying it's, specifically for Marshall, because we're kind of just going against each other, our offense versus our defense. And we'll continue to do that until 2 weeks out. And then 2 weeks, we'll kind of use it like when you have an open date and you have 2 weeks to prepare for one team. Then we'll just get real specific with that. And we'll break into, what we call scout teams, where then some of the players that are going to redshirt and not play as much will have to run Marshall's offense. They'll have to run Marshall's defense, and we won't go against each other quite as much.
Offensive coordinator Donnie Kirkpatrick live in the studio with us. If you have a question, comment for Coach K, be sure to jot it down on the Facebook in the messages area right there as far as comments go. Back with more on the Brian Bailey Show on this Monday for you right after this.
Weekdays are a great time to visit North Carolina State Parks. The best time to learn about nature is to be able to look, listen, and feel its natural beauty. A visit to the North Carolina State Parks is perfect for homeschoolers, scout groups, and teachers looking for a fun field trip during the week. You'll be amazed at all the natural wildlife you'll see when you experience the beauty of each North Carolina State Park. Visit ncparks.gov to get all the information on the closest park near you.
The Frells family lives on a lush piece of land called greener pasture, and they work on it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. With its durable construction and features that hook up to dozens of attachments with ease, no job is too tough. The Frells family runs with us, because this is more than just land, it's home. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Get quality at every turn with Quality Equipment, your local John Deere dealer, with 27 locations in North Carolina and southeastern Virginia. Find out more at qualityequip.com.
I'm Sam Jones, and for more than 3 generations, my folks have kept the fires burning for Eastern North Carolina Whole Hog Barbecue. At Sam Jones, you'll find our smokehouse pumping out wood-fired meats cooked fresh every single day. There are no freezers at our place. Everything, and we mean everything, is made fresh daily, including our sides, sweets, and sauces. Stop in and see us, and I bet you'll be able to taste our passion in just one bite. At Sam Jones Barbecue, you'll find plenty of smoke, but no mirrors.
At US Cellular, we speak fair. When we say you don't have to pay activation fees, we mean it. Plus, right now when you switch, you also get $700 toward the latest phones. Yep, we mean that too. Upgrade to fair with US Cellular. Promotional pricing requires an unlimited everyday or even better plan. New line port and credit approval. Qualified smartphone purchase and comes via monthly bill credit on a 30-month RIC. Taxes, fees, and additional restrictions apply.
This is Brandon Tate, owner and operator of Atlantic Wireless, an authorized agent for US Cellular since 1997. Visit AtlanticWireless.com to find the store near you. We go beyond the call.
This is Stephen Igo, publisher of HoistTheColors.net. Recruiting is the lifeblood of any college sports program, and no one devotes more coverage to the future of ECU athletics than Hoist the Colors. Want to know who's going to be the next Holt Nailers or Jaden Gardner? We've got all the inside scoop on the Pirates' most talented recruits and top targets 24/7. Sign up now and get your first month of coverage for a single dollar. HoistTheColors.net, the most reliable reporting on ECU athletics.
Hey, this is Chef David Finelli. Did your doctor tell you that you need to lose weight and eat healthy? Well, mine did too. He just didn't tell me how. That's why I decided to open up Pop's Heart Healthy Meal Plans. You get 6 meals a week, low salt, low carbs, low fat, low cholesterol, high protein, and never frozen. I make them myself at the restaurant, and you pick them up on Mondays. I have lost 53 pounds with this plan and lowered my A1C. It's gourmet healthy food at only $9.95 a meal, and you can order yours today at Pop's on Charles Boulevard behind Krispy Kreme. Let me help you eat healthy.
This is Brian Bailey, host of The Brian Bailey Show, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back to our show. Donnie Kirkpatrick is live in the studio with us, sharing recruiting story. And recruiting's going to be a lot different this year, and we were talking about it before we went on the air, because every state is different as far as when they're going to play high school football. North Carolina announced last week that they are going to start February, I believe it's the 6th or the 8th with practice, and I think it's the 8th, and February 26th will be the opening night for high school football. We hope to have some sort of touchdown Friday. We're not sure what it's going to look like. We're not even sure if they're going to play on Friday, so it may not work out to be called Touchdown Friday. But with that said, South Carolina is trudging on in the fall. I believe Georgia and Alabama. Alabama starts this week.
I think Alabama starts football this Friday. They're not going to start school. They're not going to start anything else. They're going to play football.
You know what's important in the South?
They got their priorities straight.
Yeah, they do. We can get in trouble for thinking like that, but we say it in jest. You know, but it's going to take you guys, because usually you have dead periods and everybody's going by the same set of rules, but all the rules are different now.
It's just so out of whack that you don't even know how to explain it. We had a recruiting meeting this morning, and JP Gunner's up there and he's talking, and any questions? Yeah, and people, and he's like, I don't know what to tell you. And
any questions? I got no answers.
And we're waiting on the NCAA to make a ruling on this and a ruling on this, and that's what you say. You're like, well, will they change the recruiting calendar so that you can go watch the North Carolina high school football? And you're like, but South Carolina will already have played, right? Georgia will already play. Somebody else might be playing later in the spring. Virginia's talking about doing it. So there's just no way it's going to all work when you got 50 different states doing 50 different things. And I even heard in Georgia, now some of the different counties are doing different things. So
that's what we need.
It's a mess, but I will say that recruiting-wise, I think we're way ahead this year. It's amazing that we've been able to do it that way. I think the technology has come into play with all the Skype and the Zoom and, all the FaceTime and some stuff like that, because we weren't able to get very many kids on campus. But we have a good, solid group of commitments right now. We don't have a huge number of scholarships this year anyhow, and we're almost really done. We're almost full, so if we can just hold on to these guys and then add just a few more, we'll be done for this year.
Did you even know what Zoom was before all this stuff hit?
Well, I'd said this earlier on one of the shows. Zoom used to be a motion.
It was one of the calls.
When our Z receiver went from one side of the field to the other. Yeah. And so, no, I didn't know what it was.
I left 27 Zoom.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that.
What's you got, Clip?
I got a question, and Pirate Al has one on Facebook Live, too.
All right.
My question regarding the recruiting, and, Coach, I don't know if you've thought about this or not, but what does the high school schedule mean for early enrollees? And do you think we see a high school football where maybe some of the best players aren't playing because they're on college campuses, or do you think we'll see less early enrollees because of this?
I don't think you'll see less enrollees. I think, unfortunately, for the high school coaches and the programs, my brother obviously being a head high school coach, I think they're going to lose some of those guys because of if they can go and enroll early, they're going to do that. We don't even know if you have an early enrollee, and how about if we moved our season to the spring like the Big Ten? Can those kids come and play?
Yeah, good question.
All of a sudden, you're talking about free agency. All of a sudden, you may be picking up guys, you're recruiting. So that's what these were all the questions you have in these recruiting meetings, yet there are no answers for any of the stuff. So every day we say, you think you've seen it all, just come to work tomorrow. It's going to be something different. And, I don't know how we're going to get it all figured out. Again, I know we don't practice today, so
we got that one figured out.
Got that part figured out today. Today's all meetings. Today's academic meetings with the players. Tomorrow, we're working on practice. We're going out there just like we're playing September the 12th and figuring it out. And then we're going to call recruits tonight and tell them to keep coming and thinking about the Pirates.
And Pirate Al has a question, too. Wanted you to ask Donnie, and this is a would you rather for Donnie. I know you don't control the schedule.
Would you rather?
But he said, would you rather play an FCS game before Marshall? It looks like Marshall might be trying to add a game before the East Carolina game. In a perfect world, would you like to do that?
if you're just asking for my opinion, and John Gilbert and them are not, but I would probably like to have been able to play the first, week 1, the September 5th, I think it is, a game, and I don't know who it would have been, but I would have loved to have gotten a chance to play the game probably before the Marshall game.
You wouldn't want to play James Madison.
I probably wouldn't want to play James Madison. So
with somebody else on the FCS.
The one thing you have to be careful about is just assuming that an FCS team
we know that.
is a win, because there's always a couple of teams learn that lesson the hard way.
Yeah.
In a one-game series, there's sometimes not that much difference in an FCS program and in an FBS program. Sometimes in a one-game series. So, but I'm just excited that we do have a little bit of direction in that aspect, and that we do think we got the game on September the 12th, and then we wouldn't play again right now for 12 days, which I don't know if that might be a pretty good thing.
Yeah,
we would have Central Florida, I guess, coming up, and right now it's still scheduled for a Thursday night ESPN game,
right?
Which that's a marquee game, and I do think maybe that the 12 days would be a good thing, and then after we play them, I guess we'd end up having like 10 days before we would play again to Georgia State. So the season would start off slow, but I do think with all the COVID-19 and the testing and the tracing and figuring out how it's going to work with the student body and all this, and how long they may have to sit out from tracing or from a positive test, that might be a good time to spread the season out a little bit, because you might have some players out, and that'd give you a chance to get more guys ready. But then it would pick up and get to be pretty normal season.
The encouraging thing too would be as we get closer to September the 12th, and I think every day moving forward is that much more of a percentage that there will be a game. I think, and it could all, they can take the rug right out of your feet in a heartbeat. But I think, and so once we get to September 12th and play a game, then you got to think, okay, everybody okay? Everybody good?
Yeah.
To steal a line from Coach Ruff, everybody good? Everybody's good.
That's right. So I don't know if we can protect the bubble. The NBA seems to, I guess, be able to do it the best right now because of the way they're doing it. And I guess maybe the hockey's doing it that way too. I know baseball's struggling a little bit, depending on which week you look and which team you're pulling for, I guess. How that's going. As football coaches, we thought, well, the NFL, they're in camp now. We're not getting a lot of news from them. We thought that would probably dictate, some things that they would learn. Do it this way, don't do it this way, and that still may, turn out to be true. We'll just have to see.
Saw the first part of Hard Knocks, I think the first episode, and basically that was a Zoom call for the Chargers, and then all just showing you all the testing that goes on, and when I think it goes on daily when you go to work. You got. Yeah. Are they taking your temperature when you walk in?
Well, we get tested a lot, so I finally can breathe a little bit. They've cleaned my nostrils pretty good. I'm telling you now. You find out how tough you really are.
Have they tickled your brain with that thing yet?
Well, they'll be able to find the brain, is what the one lady said. But she's tickling something up in there. I know this. You're committed by this point, when you've been tested about 4 times, that you really want to do this, or you would have opted out by now.
I bet.
After that, the one day I got the double nostril, they couldn't get the one to work, so that showed I was really committed right there. So
you had a nostril that just wasn't working. Huh?
Yeah,
it happens. You get our age, Coach, and all craziness breaks out. Before we continue on with Pirate football, let me ask you about your Redskins. Oh, the team formerly known as the Redskins.
Yeah.
But what do you think about it? You're a big Washington football fan?
Hell to the Washington football team.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That's all been interesting, and I will stay out of all the political.
Do you have a favorite nickname that you'd like to see him go with?
I just like Winter would be a good one for me. Like to see that, maybe we get back to the winning days.
So. We usually debate this for a little bit with Clip. Most Mondays just to talk a little bit. I kind of razz him a little bit because they haven't come after the Cowboys yet, but I like some of the names they've called. I like Red Wolves, because I think you got to keep red in there somewhere, and that's just a Cowboys fan's opinion.
How about while we're on the topic, Alex Smith? doing
that's a
football
miracle.
activities. It's unbelievable.
Isn't that great?
I did hear that, and I was so pleased to hear that, really, too, because, that shows some toughness right there, mentally and physically right there.
And when he went to the team now called Washington, I liked him beforehand. So, it's one of those players that sometimes ends up with a team that you don't like, but a player you like. And that injury he had was terrible enough, and then the rest of the problems that he had after that. But to come through that, and one of the best things you've seen on the internet was his kids, I don't know if that was water they were spraying on him or some kind of ginger ale or whatever. It could have been champagne. Should have been champagne. They were celebrating, but that was really a cool shot. Did you see that? Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. Awesome to see. Got a tight ends question when you want to get back to
all right, go ahead.
ECU
Go to
battle.
tight ends.
Kenny wanted to ask Coach just about the involvement of the tight ends. Is that something you expect to see more of this year and getting them involved?
Yeah, I think we would love to see that. We had a little bit of it last year with Zach Bird. Kind of got a few things going there in the late part of the season, making some plays, and Jeremy Lewis. I think surely has that kind of ability to be a playmaker at tight end too. So we love to play with the tight ends. We'd love to throw it to them a little bit more. They have a big job though in the blocking game as well, run and pass. But Jeremy Lewis has had a really, really good camp. A local young man,
very good player. Yeah.
So we're really excited about that. We just hope he can stay healthy. He's had a little bit of a history of injuries, and that's been the biggest setback for him. And then Shane Calhoun, who's come in as a true freshman, has had an outstanding camp. This young man has a chance to be very, very special. And then Zach Bird did get dinged up a little bit at the very beginning of practice, so he's just now kind of getting going again. So I'd like to have a few more tight ends, but right now we've got 3, but we're very pleased with all 3 of them.
And you lost the player from Oklahoma that was coming in.
Well, yeah, he's not going to
be here next year.
He's not going to be able to get here until January due to some.
He could play in the spring if we move to the spring.
Well, that was talked about this morning.
See, there you go. I was right there.
Maybe we'll just wait until he's ready to go. He tells us he's ready to go. We'll go.
We'll go. But that's encouraging because I've heard good things about him.
Well, he really has some special talents, and we didn't get a chance to get him out there really on the field and practice with him. But he did work out with some of our kids just on his own when he got here to town. And I know Holton was really impressed with his ability. Yep. A couple of the other quarterbacks had a chance just to hang out with him and throw with him. And of course, I remember him from high school when he was a tremendous athlete. And talking to some of the Oklahoma guys, obviously that I know pretty well, a couple of them told me said he was the best athlete on their team. Not saying necessarily maybe he was their best football player,
right,
but the best athlete on the team, which says something because I think we all know what they kind of have out there.
When you look at the tight end position, I've always said that this Pirate football team is just a better team when the tight end is utilized. I mean, that's just how it's always been. It seems, and I think a lot of fans are excited about that.
Yeah, I think the years I was here, the 11 years before, we had a lot of good tight ends.
Yeah.
Devon Drew went on to play in the league a little bit. Bryce Williams,
Bryce Williams was,
bounced around with a little bit and had really good. Justin Jones there, at one part of his career was so good. And so we have had a lot of good tight ends. And I don't know, right now that's what we would prefer, is to be able to play with some tight ends and have those kids that would be versatile enough to be good blockers, but yet good receivers as well.
Justin Jones with one of the biggest catches in East Carolina Pirate football history.
I think that one will go down as one of the top 10 plays. Yeah, sure was. I know that was the Ruffin McNeil debut. And also the Boneyard debut with the stands, which they tore down the bleachers out there by jumping up and down so much that game.
Never forget that next. I think that was on a Sunday, wasn't it? On a Sunday, that game was on a weird day.
You know what? It might have been.
I think it was. And anyway, that Monday, I went into my coach's office to speak to him, congratulate him, and I just remember he had this big cake up there. He said, "Brian, come on in and get some cake." I said, "Coach, I don't need any cake." And he goes, "You think I do?" I said, "Yeah, but you're celebrating. You got have a chance to get a little cake." Donnie Kirkpatrick live in the studio with us. We'll take another commercial break. Back with more on the Brian Bailey Show on this Monday after this.
Hi, this is Jeff Charles, and this is a Pirate Radio Sports Break presented by Rod Ayers Motorsports, north of the airport on Highway 11 in Greenville. Number one for motorcycles and power equipment in eastern North Carolina. Pirate alum Harold Varner III finished in a tie for 7th at 17 under par at the Wyndham Championship in Greensboro. He pocketed $208,000. Jim Herman won the event. Dr. Brian Hainline, the NCAA's top medical doctor, is not optimistic for college football this fall, saying, quote, "The pathway to play sports is so exceedingly narrow right now," end quote. Big Ten is floating an idea to start conference play January the 1st and play in 5 domes. Syracuse, Detroit, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, and St. Louis. 9 more Oklahoma Sooners have tested positive for COVID-19, bringing the total to 25 positive tests for Lincoln Riley's team. This has been a Pirate Radio Sports Break.
Let me tell you a thing or two about the people who don't compromise. For starters, they love a nice, cold Pepsi Zero Sugar. Why? Because it's delicious, it's refreshing, and it has zero sugar. How's that for not compromising? They're the sort of person that likes surf with their turf. Because who decided beef shouldn't have a buddy? And a drink with their feast? Yeah, they have a Pepsi Zero Sugar. The person who doesn't compromise loves a good golden doodle. All the golden retriever goodness with just a hint of doodle. No compromises there. Oh, and when they're bringing said golden doodle for a walk, they bring a Pepsi Zero Sugar. They're the kind of person jorts were made for. 50% jeans, 50% shorts, 100% the most comfortable thing that's ever graced your wardrobe. Not compromising never looked so good. So crack open a Pepsi Zero Sugar and taste what it's like to have it all. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero sugar done right. That's what I like.
East Coast Grading and Utilities is your source for clearing, hauling dirt, and concrete work. East Coast Grading and Utilities handles all sewer and water issues as well.
I'm David Vaughn. Whether putting in a new subdivision or helping you with any and all of your drainage problems, I can get the job done. Call me at 531-7494.
No job is too big or too small. East Coast Grading and Utilities. Friends helping friends. 531-7494 for East Coast Grading and Utilities.
Bostic Sugg Furniture wants to know, how'd you sleep last night? If you're like thousands, the answer is probably not very well. You're tired, stressed, your job suffers, and worse, your health suffers. Get better sleep on a Restonic mattress, a Consumer's Digest Award winner 13 years running. Restonic Queen mattresses start as low as $4.99. Restonic two-sided Queen mattresses from only $6.99. If you're ready to wake up to a whole new you, we have a Restonic mattress waiting for you exclusively at Bostic Sugg Furniture.
Have some.
This is Mike Houston, head football coach at East Carolina University, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
Hi, welcome back on this Monday. Donnie Kirkpatrick, offensive coordinator at East Carolina under Mike Houston. Coach Houston in his second year with the Pirate football program. Second scrimmage in the books. A good one for the Pirate offense. So let's brag on your guys a little bit. 4 touchdowns, 3 field goals. Holt Naylor, 16 completions in a row at one point. So he was fired up.
Yeah, it was good. You know, it was our second scrimmage, and I know it's been well documented. The first scrimmage didn't go exactly the offensive way, and you know that happens sometimes. But you know, I take a lot of responsibility of that myself, and I don't think I had the offensive kids maybe tuned in enough or dialed in enough. We just, you know, turnovers, and that's the way a game would go. So it was good though to see the offensive kids kind of bow their back a little bit. I could tell on Tuesday's practice last week we were pretty good. Then Wednesday we were pretty good. Thursday they were still ready to go, and then Friday they were really jacked up. I could tell when we got a chance to go scrimmage. And you know, Holton is a guy that can get on a roll like that. I didn't realize he'd hit 16 in a row, but you know, I knew he was playing really well.
Yeah.
And once he kind of gets that feeling going a little bit, you know, the sky's the limit for him. There were a lot of other guys that stepped it up too. And our offensive line's been a little shattered here with the camp, and that we've had about 3 starters out because of the COVID-19 testing and some stuff like that. So they're just working their way back. So I'm really excited about getting them back and then seeing what maybe we can do this Friday.
And you say out with the COVID-19 testing, you know, I think it's important for fans to understand that guys may not have COVID-19, may not test positive, but through contact tracing, you know, they have to sit out a while sometimes.
Well, 2 of the 3, that's exactly what the case was. One had tested positive after going home to see a sick grandmother and came back and then tested. So, and they're being so careful with these guys, which is the right thing to do. And there's stages then once you get back, but it takes about 3 weeks to get back. And then the other 2 young men just just happened to have lunch at the wrong table that day and probably let their guard down a little bit and kind of lingered a little bit too long and probably, pushed the chairs a little too close together. And so they ended up spending about 2 weeks quarantined from that as well. So, but they're all feeling good now. They're back healthy. They've been checked out, threefold or whatever, and ready to roll this week.
How much of an advantage is it to have a guy like Holton at quarterback, in these times, especially when you lose spring football and you've lost so much of that, and compare that to where Holton was, say, as a freshman. I mean, how far has he come?
Well, I don't know about where he was the true freshman year. I know where he was when we were here, in the first spring, and it is nice to have a guy that has that commitment level, because I seldom walk through the building that he's not already in there and are watching film, or studying something, or I very seldom ever come to a quarterback meeting that he doesn't have some questions that he's come up with because he's been studying film. He can tell you more about Marshall right now than I can. He's watched the tape on these guys so much. So it does help when you have lost time with them that you have somebody is willing to go do some of that on his own and has the ability to do that. And if he doesn't know the answer, he at least knows what the questions are that he needs to ask. He's a great role model for the rest of the quarterback room, which is so young. They're all freshmen. 2 of them are redshirt freshmen. The rest of them are true freshmen. So it's really nice as a coach to kind of have that guy to be the role model.
Take us through your quarterback room right now.
Well, after you get through Holton, we have Brian Gagg, who is back last year. He was able to redshirt, so he would be a redshirt freshman. Alex Flynn was the other young man that had signed in that first class, who redshirted last year. And then we have 3 just outstanding freshmen that have come in: Mason Garcia, Tajee Hudson, and Ryan Stubblefield. And then Cade Norman's kind of my assistant coach in there a little bit.
He's my favorite of the bunch, besides Holton.
Yeah, so we call him Congressman Norman, and I feel sure he'll be the governor someday, though I have no idea why anybody would want that job.
No, me either.
But he's going to be something someday, so we're really nice to him.
Yeah, that's I would be for sure. And he's light years above the rest of us as far as some things are concerned. When you look at that quarterback room, do you have a favorite for who will be the second quarterback out of the gate?
Well, whoever plays the best is going to be my favorite, I guess. And right now, it's kind of jumbled up in there a little bit, and I won't reveal everything today because we do want to get through this next scrimmage on Friday before we really make some other decisions. Because I have given them all an opportunity to go and earn that position, or the second or the third or whatever. And we want to do that because we want to truly get the best one ready, no matter who's been here first, who's been here second, or the whole bit. But we will have to make some decisions after this Friday. I have some ideas the way it's going through the first two scrimmages, but we'll wait one more week before we'll really cut that down.
Now, is this your last scrimmage of the preseason?
You know what? Because of the game getting moved back, we're talking now about maybe having 4 scrimmages,
which is unheard of.
Which is totally unheard of. Again, just like the year 2020. But what we'll probably do is have a really competitive scrimmage Friday, like we've been doing, where you get the 1s against the 1s, 2s against the 2s, and then most likely that 4th scrimmage will be probably not in the Holton Ailers. It'll probably be the guy that's competing to be the second and third quarterback, and it'll be like that at a lot of other positions as well.
Yeah, that was my next question, as to how much, because I remember in past years, usually you guys go through 3, don't you?
We have
sometimes 2 and
we
sometimes
have 2 or 3, kind of just depending out a little bit. So last year we really only had 2, and the third one was kind of a mock scrimmage a little bit. Then we do a little bit of scrimmaging sometimes during the week in just a small portion, and we'll still do a little bit of that. But we do have more depth this year. We have a lot of young guys, so we think that if we do have the time, it would be beneficial to probably scrimmage the young guys maybe one more time.
As you well know, East Carolina, sometimes known as wide receiver U, with some of the great wide receivers, the Zay Jones and company, Justin Hardy, those guys. When you look at this bunch, you're deep at wide receiver, aren't you?
I think we are. you always want to be deeper, because you're always one guy away from, okay, that changes the whole rotation. So the bar is high here because this has been wide receiver U, and we want it to continue that way. And we definitely have some guys back. Blake Prohl is our elderman of the group.
That's hard to believe, because I still think of him as being so young.
And because he looks 12 and all that. Sorry about that, Blake. But when you're my age, you'll be happy if somebody says you look younger. But Blake's kind of the elder statesman of the deal, and he'll be a junior. And then Tyler Sneed's.
Yeah, Blake looks 12. What's Tyler, 6?
Well, yeah, Tyler looks like he's not ready to go to school yet. But a tough young man right there.
He's very good.
So yeah, he's just like a sophomore. Okay, so then CJ's a sophomore. Audie is a little bit of an older guy too. He'll really just be a junior this year is what we're hoping. He's going to get the other year back with all the NCAA waivers and things like that too. So it is a good group. There's a lot of playmakers in there. Just pleased with how they're playing right now. They're being unselfish. They're playing good without the ball, which is also important. It's not about all the catches that you do make. That is a big part of it, but the blocking and the running of the correct routes to get the other guys open is a big part of it too.
One of my favorite games last year was I had a chance to go to the SMU game, and man, the offense just put on a show. That was so great to see how good those guys can be at times. Tyler was just unbelievable, and somebody had to throw it to him. Holton was just red hot.
Yeah,
but that had to make you like kind of smile a little bit and say, "Hey, the future's bright here."
Well, that was one of those days that when the game's over, you don't win. You're not happy about it,
right?
But you do at least have the feeling of, well, we're heading in the right direction. I just thought, it was a tough year last year. It was one of the tougher years of all your years in coaching when you go in and you win 4 games, and obviously nobody wants to sign up for that. Offensively, just early in the year, we just could not keep from shooting ourselves in the foot. We just couldn't get it going. We just couldn't play up to the potential I thought was there. We just could not seem to get it going. Then there was a point in there about mid-season where it just seemed to start to click a little bit. The kids started to get confidence. They kind of started to have a little bit more fun. And then, we just couldn't turn it into enough wins, but we were getting closer. And then I really would have felt great going into the off season if we wouldn't have kind of just played so poorly against Tulsa, which I was really disappointed in that. But right now, we're looking a lot better than we did last year. We feel like we've got more depth. We feel like we have more understanding of what we're trying to do offensively, and I do think that we are going to go out and have a pretty good year.
Yeah, that Tulsa game was kind of a misnomer. Because down the stretch, you guys were really good, and then that it's like a dud.
Well, I thought offensively we had played good for sure 3 games in a row, because I thought we played pretty well at Connecticut. I thought we'd played pretty well against Cincinnati. I thought we'd played pretty good against SMU. The second half against Central Florida, we'd played well. We should have had a chance in the South Florida game, and we just messed it up. The second half, we were starting to get it going a little bit, and then so I felt like, okay, this we're finding out who we are. Then Tulsa, I don't know. That just was an ugly day right there. Nobody was pleased with that performance.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's talk about the running backs before we take our final break with Donnie Kirkpatrick. Keaton Mitchell, 94-yard run. You don't see 94-yard runs very often. I don't care if it's a scrimmage, junior high game, doesn't matter. You don't see them very often. How did that run break through?
Well, a couple things happened. One is the tight end made a really, really good block, and the Z receiver cracked the safety, and then Keaton's got the speed to take it to the house, and so he made one good cut and made the other safety miss him, and then he was able to do that. So it was good to see him, break one. He had a good day throughout the scrimmage. Had a couple other good runs too. The running back room is a good problem. We're kind of picking at Coach Sims this morning about you got a problem in trying to keep these guys happy and how you're going to play them, but it's a good problem to have. Darius Penix has come back, I think, better shape, more focused. Just great attitude. Had a great camp right now, doing all the little things especially well, meaning pass protection, run blocking. We're doing some different things with him. Chase Hayden, who everybody's wanting to talk about a lot, transfer in from Arkansas. great feet, another great young man that's shown the ability to make people miss him, yet at the same time lower his pads and run some people over. Is good in the passing game, is a smart young man, so we've been really, really happy with him. We talked about Keaton as a freshman, Tajay, Raji Harris, big back. It kind of reminds me of the bus. Used to play for Pittsburgh right there.
Jerome
Bettis. I think he got banged up and wasn't able to scrimmage this week, but he's had a really good camp. Demetrius Money, coming back from last year, I think he's improved his game in a lot of ways. So there's a lot of competition going on, but you never have enough running backs. Those guys take so much punishment and get beat up so much, and we like to run a hard, physical, downhill run type game. So we're going to need all those guys, and right now they're kind of all bunched up in there, and they're having to compete every day for that starting job.
And it seems like in past years that the running back room will be really crowded, and you think, and the next thing you know, injury here, something happens here, and then all of a sudden there's only 2 or 3 guys left.
And that's the thing, it's not like you get hurt, you can just go get a free agent. Okay, once you're locked in for the season, that's what you've got. So you look, you go, hey, we got 4 or 5 guys here. How are we going to do that? And then all of a sudden, like you say, if a couple guys get injured, you're like, wow, we don't have enough. And so you just always are trying to build that depth. There's so much youth in that room, too, that there's always the possibility, especially with the new redshirt rule that you can play 4 games, is that after 4 games, okay, we may redshirt this guy and, save him and stagger the classes a little bit. But you don't have to make that decision for 4 games now.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have for sure. Donnie Kirkpatrick, our guest today on the Brian Bailey Show, offensive coordinator for East Carolina. We'll take our final break. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up with Coach K after this.
If you're like many, you may have put on the Corona 5, 10, or even 15 over the last 2 months. Well, the weather is warm and it's time to get that body back on track. At Clean Eats, we have you covered. Our weekly meal plan will quickly help you get back to where you want to be. Order online at cleaneats.com. Our cafe is back open, sanitized, and waiting to serve you healthy lunch and dinner options for dine-in, takeout, curbside, or even delivered through our delivery partners. Clean Eats, it's a lifestyle. 805 Red Banks Road, Arlington Village.
Know what I like most about my new phone from US Cellular?
I don't know.
That it was $700 off.
What? Switch to US Cellular and get $700 off the latest phones. US Cellular. Choose fair.
Promotional pricing requires an unlimited everyday or even better plan. New line port in credit approval qualified smartphone purchase and comes via monthly bill credit on a 30-month retail installment contract. Taxes, fees, and additional restrictions apply.
Does the idea of going to your local U.S. Cellular store make you feel a bit uncomfortable? Tired of the hassle of waiting and wearing a mask? Let Toby Williams and his outside sales team take away that worry. They will come right to your home or office and drop your phone off on the porch or at the front desk for you. Saving you time and worry is what the team at Cellular Warehouse is all about. Call Toby today at 252-799-7051 and let them help you with all of your wireless needs. Cellular Warehouse, your local U.S. Cellular authorized agent.
Summertime is here with hot temperatures, thunderstorms, and hurricanes. It's easy to recognize pests invading your home, but a lot of people forget about moisture destroying your home's crawl space. Pest Tech is celebrating its 20th year protecting your homes using dehumidifiers, professional-grade liners, and most importantly, our licensed and highly trained technicians. Visit pesttechofgreenville.com for a free estimate on moisture control and the other silent destroyer, termites. Trust your home to the best. Pest Tech of Greenville, your East Coast exterminating professionals.
There have been many changes in the automotive world. At Phelps Chevrolet, the Phelps boys are here to take care of you. Mike, Daryl, and 4 of Mr. Phelps' grandsons, Wade, Wes, Alan, and Clay. You see, things at Phelps remain the same. The Phelps team has served Eastern North Carolina for over 50 years. We make your visit easy and fun. We are your neighbors, and that's what neighbors do. Phelps Chevrolet in Greenville. Like Mr. Phelps' great-granddaughter says, come in and get you one.
First came the PCC location, then came the ECU location on Jarvis Street. Now introducing the newest store at 10th Street at the Food Line near Walmart. It's Angus Grill 3. 3 restaurants featuring all of your favorite burgers and more. They've got your classic Angus, steak burger, brisket burger, black and blue burger, sweet sriracha burger, jalapeno popper burger. You get the idea. Now with 3 options for the best burger in town. Angus Grill at PCC, Angus Grill at ECU, and now Angus Grill at 10th Street in the Food Line Shopping Center. It's Greenville's best burger, times 3.
Pirate Radio! Pirate Radio! Pirate! 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 Pirate Radio! Radio!
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back on this Monday. That was your button, not my button. I had my button right that time. Appreciate you back there, Clip Rock. Glenn, behind the glass, working for us. Live with you on Facebook today with Donnie Kirkpatrick, of course, on the radio, on Pirate Radio, the offensive coordinator for East Carolina, Coach Kirkpatrick, as we get set, we hope, for this 2020 football season. We talked about football most of this whole time, and that's probably been the best conversation I've had with anybody in about 5 or 6 months, because just talking about the plays and the players, and it gives you hope, doesn't it?
I think it does, and that's what we all just need. Mental health, I think it's going to be one of the effects of that going to be when they study the year 2020. So I know I'm very thankful that I have a place to go to work, an environment where everybody is really, really upbeat and very optimistic. Again, they want what's best for everybody, the student athlete, the students, the staff, and the whole bit. But it is a positive environment where we are keeping the hope and we are keeping our eye on the prize of, right now, September the 12th, that the Marshall Thunder and Herd is going to roll into Dowdy-Ficklin. And I don't know how many people are going to be in the stands.
That's right.
I don't know if we're going to pipe in the crowd noise or not.
The Purple Haze.
I think either way, Purple Haze is going to be playing, and somewhere in there, the sky is going to be purple and gold.
This will be the first time in 36 years I won't be able to be on the sideline at all, because the sidelines, and I would, this year I wouldn't want to be, because I don't want to be that close and something happens, but I'll miss that, because that's one of the things that I truly enjoy about going to a football game and hanging out on the side and seeing all the guys that are down there and just being there.
Well, I'm excited that we will play in some type of a setting in Dowdy-Ficklin, but I will say that I'm really, really looking forward to the day that it's 50,000 strong again, and it's shaking in there. And we'll all hopefully not take it for granted. All these things we do enjoy when we can do them again.
And that's the thing. I always tell people all the time that I never take it for granted, because I know I'm blessed to do the things that I get a chance to do. But man, when you see that stadium packed after a big Pirate win, and I mean it's just really with all the anticipation all week. That's the best part about the fall. And your schedule is different than mine, but for us, Monday for me is radio, and then Tuesday and Wednesday we're getting set for Touchdown Friday, and then getting the schedule out and getting everybody ready to go, and then Friday night high school football and all the games everywhere, all the scores, and even as a casual observer, most people will kind of look through the website or somewhere to get the scores and see how their alma mater did or that. And then Saturdays with college football, and a lot of times if the Pirates play at noon, the tailgaters don't like it, but I like it because I get my work done by 7, and then you get to watch the big games that night. I mean, it's just, and then Sunday, of course, you got the NFL, and you get a chance to watch those games, and hopefully we'll get some of that coming up this week. Now, you guys are off today as far as practice goes. Back at it tomorrow. What are some of the things you want to work on leading up to this? Because it sounds like this third scrimmage is going to be the most important.
Well, we're going to put in the last little bit of some installation with our red zone passing game that we just haven't gotten a chance to work on. I know the defense is putting in a couple new coverages, some red zone, some bracket-like type coverages, so we'll go against each other with that. We want to get a little bit more goal line work in the scrimmages. Sometimes you get some goal line work, sometimes you don't. We haven't gotten enough of those snaps, so we want to get just some designated snaps down there inside the 3-yard line. And then we're really just going to be concentrating on trying to decide who's going to be that second team quarterback right now.
Yeah, that's going to be a big decision for you guys to make, because you got the red shirt rule, which is the 4 games. So there's a possibility you could name, say one of the true freshmen as your number 2, not have to use him, and he could still redshirt.
Oh yeah,
that's the best case scenario, isn't it?
There's a lot of different ways that it can go, and so we will only know when it happens.
Do you like the redshirt rule like that?
I think it's pretty good. I think it keeps the freshmen a little more involved. I think a lot of times the freshmen come, and once they realize, hey, I'm not going to be the starter like I was in high school, they have a tendency to get into a little bit of a depression, kind of want the season to get over, because hey, next year I'm going to play. So I think you get a little better effort out of them. I think you keep them focused, keep them involved a little bit more, which in turn I think helps them to do better in school, helps them to do better socially, and obviously become better players.
I know you're on the offensive side of the football, but how much better is this Pirate defense this year?
Well, we got a lot more depth. We got a lot more speed. We got a lot more D linemen. That's one thing for sure. So it's been a challenge going against this scheme, not knowing this scheme that, after we've been going against the same one as far as a staff, we've been together for about 5 years, so you know each other pretty well. This fall's been interesting because we've been trying to figure out what they're doing defensively, and it's quite extensive over there. A lot of different things that can really cause you a lot of problems.
You guys get into a staff meeting after a scrimmage, after the first scrimmage, you guys kind of looking across the table at each other and saying, I got you this week?
Well, I don't know. There's some competitiveness in it.
It's got to be.
We do try to make each other better, but everybody wants to do good, and so it's never as good as it seems. It's never as bad as it seems. Somewhere in between, is what we kind of say. Because when we came back in as an offense and we watched it, we're like, hey, you know what? We were actually pretty good here if we just don't fumble the ball right here, or if we don't make one bad read. There was a couple series in there offensively. We moved the ball 30 to 40 yards in 2 or 3 plays, and then we would turn it over. Well, that's also a good lesson to learn, though, that you can't turn the ball over or you're not going to have a chance to win. And this week, I'm sure the defense went back in there thinking, ooh, this looked bad, and then they watched on tape, and they're like, hey, you know what? We weren't far off. If the nose guard just goes the right way, we probably defend that play. If we do this, there's a bust here. This time of year, there's a lot of mistakes. You're putting a lot of players in there. There's not the good continuity because you're playing so many different groupings together, and you're installing things, so there's a lot more mistakes.
Donnie, thanks so much for the time, man. We appreciate it. Talking football for a whole hour with a guy that I think so much of, and his family. And family's doing good, right?
Family's doing great. And say Misty and them started school today. I know she was excited about having the kids back.
Good. That's good to hear. Donnie Kirkpatrick, our guest today on the Brian Bailey Show, East Carolina offensive coordinator. That's our show. And we will see you back here next Monday on the Brian Bailey Show. Have a great week, everybody.
This has been The Brian Bailey Show, brought to you by
Bostic Sugg Furniture, Bojangles, East Coast Grading, Angus Grill, Gavigan Insurance, Greenville Auto World, Papa John's, Pepsi, Taft and Hagler, and by Tiebreakers.
Join us next time for another edition of The Brian Bailey Show, exclusively on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.